Starting off in Starfield, you get a couple different basic player homes, including your ship, the Frontier, as well as a free room in Constellation's Lodge. But if you're looking for something a little bit bigger and a bit more personal, this is where the Dream Home trait comes into play. During character creation, you'll be able to pick this trait, which allows you to have purchased a new house on a quiet, idyllic world. However, it comes with a 125,000 credit mortgage with Galbank, which seems to have a bit of a monopoly on banking in the year of 2330. In order to truly call the house your own, you'll have to pay off the mortgage in full. Once you've made it to the city of New Atlantis and taken on the Old Neighborhood main quest, you'll be prompted to visit Galbank's headquarters in the commercial district in order to discuss the terms of your mortgage with Landry. Once there, he'll explain that the mortgage has to be paid off in full and that they don't allow for partial payments.
Right, small home in the Olympus system, right? There's a balance on that property. Argos Extractors negotiated a very fine loan for you. There are weekly payments, but if you miss a payment, no big deal. It's a pay-as-you-go type of affair. But I think we'd all be happier if you dealt with the mortgage one way or the other. So there are two ways to take care of a loan for good. One's easy. Just pay off the balance, then the house is yours, free and clear, and you are one very happy new homeowner. The other option, less ideal, is just walk away and we foreclose on the property.
It's a small thing, but I do like that Landry brings up that the loan was set up through Argos Extractors. Little lines like this help to give a little bit more of a reason for why you took on a mining job in the first place. It just helps with creating some more possible background for your character. From here, you can also decide to completely foreclose on the house, meaning that you lose the trait entirely and Galbank repossesses the home, with no way for you to ever get it back. However, in the interim, you'll be able to make use of the house so long as you pay 500 credits a week, in the form of an interest-only payment. The payment can be made directly at the home's front door, which feels like a weird dystopian future of sorts. Just swipe your credit disc to be allowed to live in your house for a week at a time. Taking a look at the house, it starts off completely empty, aside from 2 refrigerators and a cooking station, but you will be able to fully furnish it, similar to how you would with your outposts. By bringing up the scanner with F on keyboard or left bumper on controller, you'll gain access to a build menu. You can also access this directly from a small computer panel directly across from the main entrance. From here, you can make furniture, crafting stations, and storage, all based on the outpost customization options that you have unlocked via skills as well as the research station terminals. It's a decent-sized house too, with 2 floors, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a balcony. However, you're not able to decorate the balcony or other exterior parts of the property. If you're really not into building your own home in the form of the outpost prefabs, this might be a little bit more your speed. Personally, I really wish they had some sort of grid feature or snap system for placing furniture, crafting stations, and more. That just seems like a little bit of a missed opportunity in terms of quality of life features. However, it's worth noting that you don't have the exact same functionality as an outpost either. You can't assign crew to your home or use it to mine for minerals. So, you might be wondering, with a free ship, a free room at Constellation, and the ability to build outposts anywhere, do you really need the starter house? Technically, no, you don't. However, it's the easiest way to get an actual player home, as opposed to free rooms, a bed on your ship, or at an outpost early on. In the case of New Atlantis, you have to become a citizen through the UC Vanguard questline in order to be allowed to buy a property in the city. In Neon, you can buy a penthouse, but it costs 250,000 credits, so double what the Dream House does. The barrier to entry for other player homes is ultimately much higher than paying 500 credits a week for access to the Dream Home. If you're looking to pay off the mortgage in full, it can definitely be done in the first 10 hours of the game if you're so inclined. If you focus just on making money via side quests, bounty boards, and selling everything you can find, it really won't take too long at all. If you decide not to pay the 500 credits a week, that's fine. Everything in the house stays exactly as is until you make that next interest-only payment. If you're in the house when the required weekly payment is due, you can stay in the house for as long as you want. You'll just be locked out the next time that you step outside. If you leave a companion inside the house, they'll be stuck in there until you pay the 500 credits, go inside, and ask them to follow you again. At any point, you can return to Landry and tell him to foreclose on the house, which he does warn you means that anything inside will become property of the bank. You're given the opportunity to go back and grab anything in storage that you might want to keep, but you will lose any furniture or crafting stations that you made. It's easy enough to make money in the game to easily afford the 500 credits a week. And like I said, if you save up diligently, you can pay off the full mortgage in the first 10 hours of the game if you're really in a rush. While 125,000 credits might sound like a lot early on, it's really not too much to save up for during the course of a full playthrough. And for a decently sized home on a planet with a breathable atmosphere not too far from some of the other starting systems, it's a very convenient location. I think, as a trait, this is going to be a bit more of a personal decision for a lot of people. I think the terms of the home are pretty fair, but the question is, are you really going to use the house enough to make it worth it? I feel like I spend most of my time on my ship, and I maybe use the room at Constellation for some extra storage space, if anything. While it's nice to be able to say, hey, I have a house, is it gonna get enough use for you personally? But hey, that's ultimately up to you. Thanks for watching. If there's any specific Starfield videos that you would like to see here on the channel, let me know in the comments below. I'm already keeping an eye on the Starfield Nexus, as mod authors are already really hard at work, but so far I haven't seen too much that it would make sense for me to make a video on just yet. But in the coming weeks and months, I'm sure there will be much more that would make sense for me to cover. I'm also really interested in making some Starfield lore videos once I've really had much more time to dive into the game, to learn about the game's history, factions, and more, as well as some more in-depth guides for weapon customization and shipbuilding. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.